Hello, Samadhi community. My name is Sushma, and I am here with the Dharma Talk. So, before we get into the Dharma Talk, let's talk about what is yoga. Um, Yoga comes from India, and it is the mystical arm of Hinduism. Every religion has a mystical arm. For Islam, it's Sufism. For Judaism, it's the Kabbalah. So yoga is the mystical arm of Hinduism. It's not about looking outward, but it's about looking inward. So yoga and Hinduism come from India. So think of them as two siblings growing up in the same household. They are similar in some ways, but they have their own personalities. So yoga draws a lot on mythology from the Indian culture, but the goal is completely different. There's no God out there that we worship to, but we turn inward and we realize that we are whole and complete. We are the divine light. There's nothing out there for the yogi. We hold the universe on the inside. So it's about turning inward, taking that inside journey. And yoga believes that we are already connected to this higher consciousness. That is our natural state. So in yoga, this higher consciousness is called Brahman, which means it is just pure consciousness. It does not have a form, it does not have an attribute, it is just pure consciousness. And we are already connected to that whole and complete and perfect energy. We are that divine energy. But this is the place where we can also play some Mad Libs. We can ask ourselves, what is that higher consciousness for us? How do we define the higher consciousness? If someone believes in God, God is the higher consciousness that you're connected with. If you don't believe in God, it's the cosmic energy. Whatever you think is higher than you, you are already yoked with it. You are already one with it. So that is our natural state. That is the state of yoga. Nothing to do, nowhere to go. We are whole, complete, and perfect, just the way we are. But we don't see ourselves as that because our five senses are constantly rooted or looking outward in the outside world. When we are born, we are more connected with who we are, this divine light, this pure consciousness. We are connected to it. So if you ask a kid, what do you want to be when you grow up? The world is their playground. It can be an astronaut, a dancer, anything they want to be. They don't put restrictions or boundaries on themselves. I won't have enough money, I won't have the right body, or whatever we tell ourselves right now. I can't do my dream thing because of blah blah blah. So what happens is, as we start growing up, we start looking outward. Society tells us this is the idea of beauty, or this is the idea of being perfect, or this is good and this is bad. So we start feeling that we are incomplete, we are not whole. And as we practice yoga, we practice looking inward, we practice looking beyond the churning of the mind. So when I say that, it does not mean that when an emotion rises up, I sit with it and say, why am I angry right now? Why am I uncomfortable? What is it? And then I make up stories and make it bigger than it needs to be. So what we do is we sit with that discomfort, we watch it, we take the stories away. If a friend said something that did not feel good, instead of putting a story of why the friend said it and why I'm feeling this way, I sit with the sensation. I take the person out and just sit with the sensation. And just like water rises and falls, or a sound comes up and then dies down, these emotions, these thoughts subside, and you look beyond them. You look to that consciousness that's observing these thoughts. And that is the practice of yoga. So we are whole and complete, but we are also becoming whole and complete.